Welcome to another week of the Blue Review. Greg Bergman, the big CY, Clinton Yates over there, and the Blue Review is presented by Los Angeles International Airport, where changes are arriving daily to help reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the travel experience. Clinton Yates, this Dodgers pitching staff is falling apart. Tony Gonsolin and Clayton Kershaw are your only two starters at this point, now with Julio Urias on the IL with a hamstring injury, and Dustin May, like we talked about last week, with that same right elbow injury that he had Tommy John surgery on. It's going to, you have Gavin Stone pitching tonight, and then the top pitching prospect for them, Bobby Miller, pitching tomorrow, which is pretty big, but this is all kind of getting crazy right now.
Look, I think we're at the point of the season where, because of the health of the pitching staff, if you're a Dodgers fan, you have to reevaluate what expectations are. Flatly. I mean, you can say you can go out and get a guy. You can hope that somebody comes up from Oklahoma City and is filling in. But realistically, in terms of how you forecasted this season, who are we kidding about Dustin May? Like 6 weeks minimum, okay, but that's the same elbow you just got operated on. There's the belief that this could be a shutdown situation. In addition, Urias is more than just an injury circumstance. He was giving up a lot of runs. You can't tell me that the hamstring is the only reason why he doesn't have command of the zone the same way. I, at this point, have changed my expectation level for this team simply due to the fact that the horses, the guys that you expected to lead you out of the starting staff, are not there. It's not a knock on anybody. It's just a situation where when you don't have your best pitchers, you're not as good of a baseball team. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and look, the hamstring injury for Urias it could have something to do with it. You know, when you're using your leg to do a certain thing, it's gonna it changes the way you pitch everything. I get it, but this does feel like one of those situations where he just needs a little bit of time to figure out some mechanical issues that's going on, and going on that 15-day IL is the right way for him to go. And I think basically he's going to come back after those 15 days and hopefully have something figured out, but he needs the time off. If this is all going to happen, right now is the time for it to happen. Yeah. You have a nice little lead in the division. You're still one of the best teams in baseball. You have the offense that's playing pretty well for the most part, despite what it looked like in St. Louis over the weekend. But there's still a lot there that they can still keep up with. And maybe you get something big out of Bobby Miller, and maybe you get something big out of Gavin Stone. Those two guys are supposed to be your top pitching prospects. So really, bring these dudes up, see what they got, and maybe they just surprise us and they become the next guys.
Right, but you want to bring people up when they're playing their best, not because you have to force them into action. And that's where this becomes tricky, because with May as well, like, let's think about this. 2020 is the only season that he started more than 10 games. This guy's been in the bigs through parts of 5-6 seasons now. This is an issue. He does not get through seasons. You know, I feel bad for the guy, because it seems like one of those sort of modern problems, like a guy can't get his elbow right and therefore, can't start a game and is having surgeries all over the place. I really hope that whatever the Dodgers do going forward, they understand that these young guys, these prospects, they got careers too. You know what I mean? And like, if you're just sending guys up and down and messing with guys' heads and so on and so forth, this has become a much harder job for Dave Roberts now than it was at the beginning of this season. And look, I understand that the Dodgers have a great farm system. It's one of the things that they do better than most teams in the major leagues. But right now is about as bleak as it's looked, I think, for this team from a pitching staff in a long time. Not that the sky is falling. That's the whole point of having the players. You think they're going to be able to perform. But if you don't know who's consistently going to be on the bump, and you're going up against a team like, I don't know, Atlanta, right, it's tough, because that team is as good as you are. And their pitchers, by the way, are more than healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. They got that Spencer Strider dude who's been fantastic. Yep. So there's a couple of different points in there. Not only are they playing Atlanta, they play the Tampa Bay Rays right after that in Tampa Bay. So that's not going to be easy for this entire week, and having to go with guys that are coming up from the minors, it's a problem. Dustin May, you're not supposed to be able to throw 100 miles an hour consistently with that much movement and not have issues. I mean, we've seen it so much with Jacob deGrom, where he cannot stay healthy because you can't throw 105 miles an hour all the time. It's just not how this is supposed to work. So I will say this, though, about the front office when it comes to the minor league system. I really believe that they bring the guys up slowly at the right time for the most part. Yeah, and usually they will late. And Bobby Miller hasn't come up because they don't think he was ready or that it wasn't time. They're just in a position now where it's like, what are we going to do? You got to, if you're not going to be ready right now, then you're not going to be ready. So having him come up now is kind of like, all right, let's see what you got. But there's very well, he could come in, pitch however he's going to pitch, go right back down, and another dude comes right back up. Which sucks is that you had that dude Dylan Covey come in, who was actually one of their better veteran relievers for the minor league system. He pitched really well over those 4 innings, and then boom, DFA'd, hoping that he was going to stick around. He's in the Phillies now. Right. So, you know, so there's a lot of different things that are happening.
I agree. And that's also, the only reason I bring that up is to caution Dodgers fans too. Evaluation for young players in a situation like this is a completely different animal than you would otherwise. This is not a scenario in which, oh, let's see what the new kid can do because we've got a plethora of, no. And that's where it becomes tough, is because of putting a kid in a situation like that against the Bravos or against the Rays. Is that really a fair evaluation? Yes, it's big league talent. Yes, you need your team, but for the long-term stretch of what your career is going to be, I don't know that whatever happens in these 2 series for these young guys is going to be definitive of who they are going forward long-term.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they would love to have them go up against the Kansas City Royals if they could, but that's, you know, it's not where they get it. They're thrown right into the fire. So, I mean, look, Clinton, we'll see what they do over the next couple of games and see if they get to stick around for a little bit longer. It's going to be really something to watch, though. Yep. I think this is going to be something really interesting over the next week and a half, 2 weeks.
Biggest storyline, so for sure, of the next 2 weeks. Not even close.
Absolutely. And we'll be hitting all of it on the Blue Review coming up over that time. Thank you, Clinton Yates. Thank you to LAX. We'll talk to you mañana.
Bye.